from a DFS perspective. And yeah, who knows? You never know if we might throw out an occasional bet thing that we like as well. But Sheets, overall thoughts. I have some friends going to this tournament this week.
Oh, wow.
That's all I know for sure. And I have a few memories of guys who did well here that I haven't studied fully back up on yet, but it's on my notes to dig. And I'll for premium members, I'll have my early builds up a little bit later. Although my golf builds lately have not been in the nuts exactly. We should get Kenny to post his up there because he's been much better than I have lately. Anyway, with all that said, let's ready to jump into it. Pull your screen up.
Yeah. One overall thing is that it's going to be a very, very low scoring tournament. It's a very, very easy course, and they're going to put up some very, very good scores, I would imagine. That really isn't really affecting how I'm playing, really. Just trying to find good golfers at good prices that project well, that hopefully are going to be on the low owned side. That is one thing that I'm seeing, is that like ownership is not going to be doesn't look to be that condensed. We will see. The other thing is that because we're doing it not a little bit later, for me, I've already built my lineups. So I'm going to talk about who I like as far as my sheets go, and also who I actually played with respect to leverage and stuff like that. But we're going to do the same thing. We'll go tier by tier, and we'll say who we like. Then we'll wrap it all up later with our little game, and then we'll get out of here.
All right, sounds good to me. All right, so let's talk about the top range here.
Well, you've been waiting for this, right?
What's that? Oh, here, let's get your screen up here real quick. Wait, hold on. Yeah, no problem. I've been waiting for this. Wait, what do you mean?
For Tony Finau to be like the highest price.
To be the one. Honestly, this feels very fadeable to me.
Oh yeah.
That's my first take. Is the top range? I feel it feels fadeable. If I had to pick favorites, I'm kind of interested in the fact that Morikawa keeps playing every week. I'm just sort of wondering why. I know Justin Thomas is trying to figure out his game, and he did a good job last week. He sort of bounced back, and especially after a really bad first day, he started to look a little bit more like Justin Thomas. So I guess Thomas, Fowler, Morikawa would be my three favorites, but I honestly am okay with passing most of these guys.
Yeah. So normally, with the way my sheets kind of like play out, is that you usually get the top guys being rated at the top in the sheet's value score. That's just the way it is.
Right.
And very rare situations where they're not. And today is one of them. Of the 5 guys above 10K, none of them are my top 2. And that doesn't happen often.
Interesting.
Yeah. So now they're also, all of them are not going to be that chalky as well. So that's something interesting.
They're going to have some pretty good ownership, though.
Oh,
right?
they'll be over 10%, but it's not going to be like 25 or anything like that.
Right.
Now, with that said, in my actual builds, I do have 23% of Max Homa. So that's my top owned guy in the 10K range, and the rest I'm sort of with the field. Like I'm with the field on Finau, sort of with the field on Fowler, and then JT, I guess sort of with the field like 14%, something like that. 10% Colin Morikawa. So none of these guys are real priorities for me. And again, the guy I'm the most on is Max Homa. But again, you don't have. I mean, if you're playing just a couple lineups, you don't have to play any of these guys.
Yep. Yeah. Agreed. So, all right. So let's talk about the 9K range. For me, it's a small 9K range. We just have it. It's kind of weird because I'm almost wondering how I'm going to spend my money if I don't play the 10K guys. So, Hideki's had probably a much better year than people realize. So I'm totally good with Hideki. I'm good with Tom Kim. I actually think Tom Kim would be my favorite in this range. And I think Kim and Im, I'm going to go right back to that. And then Keegan Bradley would be my next favorite, even after the win.
Yeah, as I mentioned, the 10K guys are not the top 2. The top 2 that I have on my board is Sungjae M number 1 and Hideki number 2. And then after the 10K guys, I have the other 9K. So Keegan and Tom Kim. Now it's kind of cool. Like I built some lineups and I looked at ownership as well. And in my actual builds, I'm getting the most of Tom Kim because he's rates to be lower owned than Im and Hideki.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as actually tournament builds, I have Kim as the better option. But all these guys are really, really strong plays. Im, Hideki, Keegan Bradley, and Tom Kim.
Yep. All right. What do you got down in the 8K range? Why don't you start this one off?
Yeah. So my third highest owned guy is actually Benny Yan. And looks like his ownership is pretty reasonable. And then I also have quite a bit of the Austin Eckroat. Now Austin Eckroat rates to be really chalky, but that is kind of is what it is. But I think those two guys for me are very, very strong plays. Then for me, it's like a drop to like other guys like Hadwin and Straka and Kirk, whatever. So I will highlight Benny Yan and Austin Eckroat as very, very good plays in that range.
I like On and Eckroat as well. But my favorites are going to be the low owned. I'm not really sure. I think it's a price thing, but I don't think people are comfortable with the Steven Yeager price. I don't know if everybody remembers that he finished 5th last year at this tournament. I am good with Steven Yeager at 8,900 and taking a shot. And you say, oh, maybe it sounds chasey. Well, if nobody else chases, I don't mind being the one guy who chases the 5% on Steven Yeager.
Yeah.
So Yeager and Aberg were the two guys I wanted to add to what you mentioned. But I'll mix in more of these guys because I'm not going to be playing as much of the 10K guys. So I'm going to have some Kirk. I'm going to have some Straka. I'm going to have some Hadwin. I'm going to have some Taylor Moore. Oh, that's a little lower. We'll talk more about that one. But I'm going to have a lot of the 8K guys because I'm not overly thrilled with the 10K range. So pretty much over my overweight section, I think there. So 7,500 to 8K sheets. Who do you got here?
My top owned guy on my board is JJ Spawn. I have even in 150 max, I have like 35% of him. I have him rated as the top guy in the 7K range by a little bit over Aaron Rye. Now both those guys I'm seeing with ownership. I said JJ Spawn about 14%, Aaron Rye 14%. So above the 7,500 range, those are my two favorites. And then my next three would be Taylor Moore, Brandon Wu, and Bo Hostler. But I do like Spawn and Rye the best. And then actually in builds, I have the most of them. So Spawn and Aaron Rye.
Yeah, Spawn Rye. I will probably have a little bit of Justin Suh. Although I actually prefer him at the non-crazy, you have to birdie every hole events. I still don't know what to do with Joseph Bramlett, but I think I'm always going to play Brandon Wu. I'm always going to be over the field on him. The Gordon Sargent is probably one of the more interesting like conversation pieces. Like I think he's going to have some ownership. This kid is going to be really, really, really good. He looks like he's 7 years old, but it's just a matter of when, and we've seen glimpses of it. You know, he was the top amateur at the Open this year, I don't mind getting to a little bit of him, but I think that Wu and Taylor Moore, in addition to the guys you said, would be my favorites. Below 7,500 to 7K. I don't have a whole lot here, Sheets. Do you have much?
I do.
Okay, let's go.
I do. As my fourth highest owned golfer, actually, and in probably my big binds, I have like two guys I got a lot of. One is Sam the Discount Man Stevens at 7,300, and the other one I have is Adam Don't Shank. So I'm getting quite a bit of both those, and I'm just kind of chilled with it. So Adam Shank at 7,300, and who would I say? Sam Stevens at 7,300 as well.
Okay. Yeah, I can get on board with that. There's no issues with that. I'll throw in Ben Griffin and Luke List, I guess, as my guys. Again, Adam Svensson I like as a golfer, but I don't like him for this. Matt Wallace, man, I'll tell you, if there's a guy who has a higher range of outcomes than Matt Wallace, I certainly don't know who he is. He shot 10 over the last tournament, and then he shot 6 under the next day. That's like the experience you get with Matt Wallace. But every now and then he'll put a few good rounds together and be up by like 6 strokes and then end up losing and finishing 12th or something.
Right.
Which is fine for his price. But the other one I just wanted to throw out there that it's kind of surprising that he's not getting any ownership is Carson Young. I guess he was Kevin Yu is going to get the ownership at the 7K price point. Why Carson Young feels like we should be just playing this guy every week, especially when you don't have other plays that you feel really in love with in the range. So I'll throw in Carson Young, and then just for old time's sake, I'll throw in Kazire.
Oh, like that.
Like weird that no one's playing Carson Young. I'm just a little confused at what I might be missing here. He's just consistently good.
Now, I presume that I'm going to have Patrick Rogers under 7K. I haven't even looked to see if he's playing in this tournament. But always when we say who's playing in 7K, I just scroll down and I see Patrick Rogers. But wait, no, I don't see him. How about that?
Yeah.
Oh, what a surprise. That's interesting. Is he playing? Or is just not?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't keep an eye on Patrick.
No, he's not playing. See, that's if you were playing, I'd have him, but I just don't.
Yeah.
All right. So I got one guy I've literally never played before, so that's something. So my 2 guys that I'll give 3. One, since you gave Ben Griffin, I'll say Ben Martin. The other guy who I've played before is Scott Stallings, but now we have a new guy for me, Vincent Norman.
Yeah, he's my guy too.
Oh, really? So he's like an actual golfer. Okay.
No, Vincent Norman and like going to be a very, very high level golfer, I think.
Oh, well, there you go. We like that then. So yeah, so those are my 3 I'll give out. Scott Stallings, Vince Norman, and who did I say? And Ben Martin.
All of those guys make sense to me. I need to figure something out because from what I remember, I remember someone having some inside knowledge on this one a couple of years ago that Richie Wierenski played like an unusual amount of golf at this golf club.
Oh, really? Okay.
And he actually, I don't remember where he finished in that tournament. I know he was like tied T2 at the end of day 1 at like 0.1% ownership or something. But I can't remember exactly what the narrative was. And I tried to look it up and I didn't find anything yet. So I'm going to have to revisit that. I'll throw in, again, another guy who I've become a little bit fond of in these, lesser events, Scott Piercy.
Yeah.
To mixed results, but mostly solid enough for where he's priced. I think Smotherman is fine. It's really pretty thin, honestly, for me. I'm used to having all these guys under 7K, and maybe it's because I don't love the 10Ks as much, but I really don't have that many. So I have a little bit of Piercy, and then a little bit of the Davis Thompson, Norman, and Stahl, and as you mentioned, Ben Martin. I don't mind if we want to go back to Caleb Tarum either, or Danny Willett. Those guys are fine. Just don't feel like I need to force it in as much this week.
All right, so now we're going to go through. We're going to ask the following questions of each other. We're going to ask who's going to win the tournament. We're going to talk about who's going to under 10K to come top 5, who under 9K to come top 10, who under 8K to come top 20, who under 7K to make the cut, and who is going to miss the cut who's priced above 9,000. So why don't you start with who is going to win?
So I'm going to put my money on this one on Sung Jae.
I love it. And that is exactly who I was taking, by the way. So what I am going to do is I am going to go with Tom Kim.
That was my other one. So, okay, there we go. Kim and M. All right. Under 10K to top 5. Well, we kind of just named 2 of them. So I'm gonna go with the back-to-back just to get some low ownership in there. I'm gonna go with Steven Yeager.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna cheat. Well, I'm not gonna cheat.
You're gonna say Sanjay, yeah.
No, I'm gonna say Hideki.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably should have said that one in the first.
Yeah. So I'm gonna say Hideki.
All right.
So who'd you say, Yeager? Hold on.
Yeah, Yeager at 8,900 I had there.
Okay, so now under 9K, who is not Steve Yeager to make top 10?
It's not Steve Yeager.
Well, I mean, you used him already. So.
No. Yeah. It's actually funny because I just for some reason his name sounded different than Steve Yeager. All right, so I would say that See, I like your guy, but I also like my guy. I'm gonna say Aberg. A little nervous that I'm not gonna get to Chris Kirk, and I've got a feeling that this is gonna be a decent Chris Kirk week. So, but I did want to throw Aberg out there. I really like this guy.
And I'm gonna go with Benny on. So what Aberg? That's who we got. Okay,
Yeah.
Aberg. Okay, and I'm gonna go with Benny on under 8K to make top 20.
Yeah, I think for me, I'm probably going to have to go Taylor Moore. I actually think I can make a case for him for going even higher. Yeah, I'm going to go Taylor Moore.
And so top 20. It's between only because I'm between these two guys, and only because I haven't talked about him in like several months. I will give him out JJ Spawn.
Oh yeah, okay, there we go.
Top 20. How about under 7K to make the cut?
I wish we could do 7K even because I got all the guys there. I forgot to mention that I like both of the woos, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there. Under 7K to make the cut. I am going to say Vincent Norman. Sorry, because
Storm and Norman. Yeah, I'm in, and I will go with Ben Martin.
Ben Martin. All right, so there you have that. And then
So
now we need the.
Who's going to miss the cut over 9K?
Oof.
Not that many golfers.
Not a lot of guys to choose from. I can't say Harris English since he withdrew.
No, you can't.
I guess I have to say Cam Davis, but he might be a sneaky play you want to use also. I don't know.
Then I guess I'm just going to have to go with Keegan
Bradley. And for what it is worth, by the way, Finau did win this tournament last year. Just wanted, in case we didn't mention that.
Keegan Bradley off the dub. We'll take him. But the answer is what you said, Cam Davis.
Yeah. All right. Well, it should be a fun one. Hopefully, we have some weekend sweats that we can enjoy. Yeah. So we'll get after that, and I'll post my early builds and stuff like that a little bit later in the Discord. So.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Good luck, everybody, and we'll see you guys hopefully at the top of the leaderboards this weekend.